Yep,
but for this part here, just as a side note, the cinematography on the Enterprise and Starbase, absolutely amazing. I love the effects that they put into this show. You can really tell that they care about the detail. Absolutely blows my mind every episode.
Oh yeah, the nice thing about this era of Star Trek is that every episode looks like a movie. They put that much care and really
delivered here.
Yeah. Later in his quarters, Pike meets with Spock, who is the reluctant acting captain. So Pike's going off for personal leave for 3 days to seek help for Una. Spock worries about the ship's short-staffed situation, but Pike trusts him. You won't even leave space dock, he says. And Spock quips about famous last words. So after Pike departs, Spock heads to sickbay where Dr. M'Benga scans reveal the signs of stress, a racing heart, neck and jaw, lower back pain, all atypical for Spock. The Vulcan with emotional barriers have been down since the Gorn encounter at Vallejo Beta 5. M'Benga offers some human-style therapy and hands Spock a Vulcan lute, which we would see him play all the time in TOS. Claiming music helps humans deal with feelings, Spock starts to strum the lute. His heart rate drops. But then, of course, it skyrockets when Nurse Chapel walks in and he tries not to notice her really cute freckles. Yep, Spock then makes a swift exit. Fascinating, says M'Benga, stealing Spock's catchphrase. Chapel mentions Spock's level spiked when she entered, but she's not interested in that. She's thinking about an archaeological medical fellowship on Vulcan, leaving M'Benga fretting about replacements. Chapel teases him, it's just 2 months, and he's not going to get rid of her that easily. Now, the question I had, what is archaeological medical fellowship? Is that...
I had no idea. Maybe they find fossilized pill bottles next to bones or something.
Maybe that's it. On the bridge, Ortegas and Mitchell eye the inspectors who are running around the ship. And they're grumbling about their numbers exceeding the numbers of the crew. And Inspector gripes about the helm's highly irregular layout, and Ortegas defends it, saying it's for evasive maneuvers. I like how they compare her station to a joystick, basically. They're like, do you want regular controls or do you want airplane controls?
Yeah, and she's got the X and Y axis inverted on there or something.
Yeah. And she's always just a fun character. I just like how quippy and mean she can get with people around her.
She's definitely one of my top 3.
Yeah. And Uhura. Now, I noticed that, I can't remember if she wore these in season 1, but I noticed Uhura was wearing the earrings like Nichelle Nichols wore on the original series.
That was a detail I missed.
Yeah, the green hoop earrings. Uhura's station is next in line, and she blocks the inspector's attempt to install a secure comms patch. That would knock out all the comms, even the emergency ones. So she's like, shoo. But he's like, no, really, I got to do this. Anyways, we're in space dock. How many calls are you going to get? Just then, Uhura gets an emergency call.
That guy should go buy a lottery ticket with a sense of timing.
Or maybe he blew it all right there. Maybe that's all he had in the tank,
Yeah, he got the Starfleet lucky call bonus pay for that week.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Spock strums the lute in his quarters when Uhura arrives, reporting that the internal comms are down. She's intercepted a distress call from Kajitar in Klingon space, originating from Laan. Spock takes it up with Admiral April, who denies a request due to the delicate dilithium politics on Kajitar. Spock then gathers the senior officers, sharing the situation. Uhura believes the distress call, and Bingo worries it's a trap. Mitchell reminds them of the Admiral's orders, and Spock seeks their help in ousting the inspectors, but assures they can opt out if they find it wrong. Chapel asks, find what wrong? And Spock responds with, we're going to heist the Enterprise. Now, surprisingly, this would go on to be quite the habit for the members of the Enterprise crew in the future of Star Trek. Those guys were always stealing the ship for some reason.
Yep. Menagerie, Star Trek 3, 110101.
Yep.
Although I believe it was actually the Binars.
That was the Binars, but they made sure that Picard and Riker were left on board because they knew if they died, at least these guys would be able to finish the trick for them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Either way, the Enterprise seems to end up like that car that was only purchased once but owned 7 times. You see around different driver every week.
Oh, yeah. I know that car. It's been around since I was in high school.
Good looker.
Yeah. So we go on to Act 1, or How to Steal a Starship, for the very first time. In engineering, Mitchell stages a coolant leak in the intermix chamber. Now, real quick, I got to say this because I'm kind of OCD about certain things. Every time I see her and realize her name is Mitchell, I wonder if she's supposed to be some weird stand-in for Gary Mitchell.
I didn't quite put that together on my first watch through of the season, but I believe I had already mentioned to you a little earlier today that I rewatched the episode today to get a nice fresh perspective. And that was something that came up to me too. And I'm wondering if they would end up doing that in any future episodes, maybe some kind of connection to Gary Mitchell.
Yeah, I was wondering, where they were headed with that, because you know how they're occasionally bringing in characters like Scotty and stuff, like classic crew members who aren't in the show yet, or whatever, and then they hint at them real heavily.
Yeah,
I was wondering if maybe this was like a Gary Mitchell, because he seems to be a forgotten character, but he's very important in that second pilot.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Star Trek, one of Star Trek's first big bads.
Yep. Well, it was a great episode, and he was a great character.